Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Copycat Trading. My name is Brian, and today is Wednesday, January the 24th, 2024, and we are talking a market brief today. All right, the market gapped up today on lighter volume. We still only traded 80 million shares with pre- and post-market trading. That's fairly decent volume, but not as light as what yesterday was. Up by 0.11%. It still finished up for the day, but it still gapped up and then came back in. And looking at this parallel channel that I drew in yesterday, it looks like that it may have hit the top portion of that parallel channel. Now, in euphoric moves, sometimes parallel channels don't make any difference, and the stock market doesn't care, and people don't care whether we're at the high of a channel. They'll just keep on going up. So that doesn't mean much. It just gives us kind of a plan of whether or not we're going to be unloading stuff, not really shorting the market. So anyway, the market came up, gapped up, and then kind of pulled back in for the rest of the day. This is what it looked like on the intraday market. Intraday, the stock market opened up right here and then kind of came down a little bit. Let me get rid of the extended trading hours. Kind of came back in a little bit and then popped back up above the channel, came back in, and then eventually kind of slid back down all the rest of the day. Almost hit the gap there as we were closing, but it still maintained a greater than break-even day. So we were up 0.11% or 53 cents. Qs had similar, except for it actually finished 50.55 cents or 0.55% up, and is well above that channel. And if truth be told, you could draw a channel or a line up here, a trend line up here between these 2 points, and call this a check back, which means it could go higher on the QQQ if we were just doing pure technical analysis. But again, this is euphoric move. This is well overbought. The NASDAQ is well overbought. All of the tech sectors well overbought. And it could just be a check back and a go up, or it could be a start of a reversal. We'll just have to wait and see how it goes. As far as the Russell 2000 had a down day today, down by 0.82%. And I drew a channel in there to help us look and see what it's looking like as far as staying in this channel. And right now we have lower highs, and we'll just have to wait and see whether or not this actually turns out to be a low and then another low. As of right now, we can't calculate this as a low because it was a gap up off of this. So this is a low. If it comes back down and makes a lower low, that'll be significant for the IWM. But the long range trend is still where we'd have support right in this area, right in here, about 171.32. So it could trade all the way down to this level and then pop back up again if it stays in this range. There's nothing to say that this may be a larger consolidation pattern if we go to the weekly or the monthly. Monthly, it just looks like it is in a big consolidation pattern. So it very well could just break out of this eventually and come on up. But it's not the best consolidation pattern. Definitely doesn't look like a bull flag, but it still hasn't taken out the lows down here of this candle, which that would be negative for the Russell. But as of the weekly pattern, it still looks like a consolidation pattern. We have this move up, and then it just chopped sideways for quite some time. So it could make another move up just from a technical standpoint. But in the short term, we're stuck in this channel, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. As far as gold goes today, gold was 0.82% down today, had a down move, and I drew a channel in for it as well. There is nothing to say about gold except for it's just waiting, I think, on a catalyst to send it back up, and this point right here is going to be its all-time high. So it's just waiting for a catalyst to get back up there and to start treading up and breaking its all-time highs up here around 2,100, depending on whether you include this pop that we had here. But anyway, so gold had that. Silver had an up day, 0.99% up, 22 cents in the up move. And so it's getting close to taking out this neckline, but hasn't really set off any heavy buying or anything of that nature. There's not any major buys going on here, so we don't know how it's going to happen, but at least it could come back to this neckline and then either get rejected or negate the head and shoulders, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens with it. Right now, we got support down here around the $20.82 range, and then if it takes that out, it could go all the way down to the $19 range right here at this pivot, and the $20 range. That would be a very good buying opportunity. Of course, if it gets all the way down here, it'd satisfy the head and shoulders pattern. Natural gas got a good pop today, 4.29% up, so I'm back in the money on that trade. and we're sitting down in here somewhere as far as the break even goes, and I'll wait for another pattern. Of course, we got to get through this resistance line right here before we can make any move up to this resistance line. But if it gets through this resistance line, I'll probably unload half my shares somewhere in here, and then we'll just wait on the rest. And I'm trading it through the UNG, which, speaking of the UNG, it just had a stock split, an inverse stock split today. So you might have noticed if you're in the UNG that your price is actually if you were trading around the $4 and $5 level, now you're trading at $20, and it's not that your value went up. They just took if you have 200 shares in your portfolio, now you have 100 shares in your portfolio, and so they just did an inverse stock split. And I'm not sure exactly what it was. I think it was 3-to-1, 4-to-1, or something like that. But anyway, so natural gas, trading it through the UNG. U.S. oil has officially broken out of my little wedge pattern here. So until it is proven otherwise, this is a breakout. So don't be surprised if we come up and then we come back down and check back to this line, unless something more significant happens as far as the fundamental side of things go over there in the Middle East. And this, of course, could rocket up to anywhere if we have some major events happen over in the Middle East. But as of right now, probably won't see it to $80 or so. There is a kind of a wonky head and shoulders pattern in here that says $80, or inverse head and shoulders. But we'll just see whether or not that is going to play out or not. Bitcoin had another flat to negative day, 0.57% down, which is not a very big move for Bitcoin at all. Down $226.54, and it's just chopping around in this area. Here's your area of resistance. Here's your area of support, and the longer it hammers on this line, the more it could come up and come back to this upsloping trend line, and the longer it kind of hangs out up here and kind of goes sideways, the more you'd expect it to break down. All right, so that's Bitcoin. On the semiconductors today, we were up 1.78%, and they came back in just like everything else in the market. Excuse me. And I drew a little bit of a measured move in here to try to figure out where we could go. And here's a big move from the semiconductors back here in November. And it looks like it's copied that right now. Of course, it's poked up above that, but it came back in later today. And so we might have a measured move, and I have a reversal signal for the SMH. But if it copies this move, it only came down just a few percentage points off the highs before it made another truck up. So don't expect with this strong uptrend for there to be a big reversal. If it is a reversal, of course, it'll surprise us, but don't expect that. In other words, don't go shorting the market expecting it to drop in 50% or something is what I'm saying. As far as NVIDIA did again what NVIDIA does, and it just continued to climb, and it went just made a really good run up here to $628. It's up 2.49% by the end of the day, $14.89, which is not a lot for NVIDIA, honestly. In the after hours, it is trading just slightly up off its lows, 0.39%. Apple had a reversal day today, down 0.35%, and satisfied my move whenever it was here, and then it came up here and reversed just a little bit today. Not too much, but it is trading down in the after hours market. Not a lot of heavy volume though, so we're pretty safe. Tesla just reported earnings. They are down 2.25% from their earnings. They're down here around 202.29, and they just basically broke this trend line here, and I'm probably going to be stopped out of this trade tomorrow because that's about as far as I go on the trade. Either that or I'll add to it. Just all depends on what any kind of signal I get for reversal. So we'll just have to wait and see. But here's your first level support tomorrow. I think it actually got down there today in the after hours. Let's check that. In the after hours, it got down to 195.39. So if we go back to the daily, 194. So it didn't quite get to this double bottom down here, but that's going to be your first level of support on the Tesla chart. And then from there, it looks like you've got a pivot point like right in here, and then this pivot point down in here about 165. So it just all depends on how far it falls tomorrow. We'll just have to wait and see, and all kinds of things could happen. Any kind of news could come out between now and then. And in the next 3 or 4 days, you're going to get downgrades and upgrades and confidence builders and all kind of stuff. And there may be even some statements from Elon himself. But as of right now, we'll just have to wait and see what those earnings did. As far as the earnings go, it looks like it missed by 2.8% on the earnings, and the revenue missed by 1.84%. So not too terribly bad. But we'll just have to see. There's a lot of people waiting to punish Tesla, and a lot of people who are rooting for Tesla. This is almost what's called a meme stock, which means it has unexpected moves because people love Tesla. All right, let's keep on going. Microsoft. Had a 0.92% up day. Microsoft is doing really good, nice and strong. Still got an uptrend that's very strong. $3.66 move up right now. If we were going to expect anything, we'd expect a check back. It looks like they had a check back right here. So that's probably the check back to the flat line. This is the all-time highs that it broke out of, went up, and then came back and checked back to this line. And it is off to the races. We don't know where it's going to go, where it's going to stop. It's probably not going to stop till the market stops, unless the earnings itself stops it, which is on January the 30th. Meta today squeaked out at a positive day of 1.43%, $5.50 gain. This is Meta's all-time highs. You notice it broke through it, and you're probably going to expect in the next 3 or 4 days to come back and check back here to $384, $385 before it moves up, before it makes its next level up. But I would caution anybody who is planning on playing that to look at your measured moves here. So you got a measured move here. If I can get it to activate. Got a measured move here, so it goes to there, and then if we clone that and take a look at what that looks like if we were going from here, I would say you don't have a ton of upside from there, and if you were taking it from here, you're already past the measured move. So just be careful if you're deciding to go with the measured move here, or trying to go with a Meta after we check back to the flat line, or after we check back to the all-time highs, and then rocket launch up and kind of copy what Microsoft did. If you're thinking that's what you're planning on doing, just be careful, because the measured move is showing that we're almost to the place of exhaustion before we need a pullback, that is. Not to say that any of them, all of them, are significantly overbought. If you take a look at Microsoft, come on, Microsoft is overbought and Meta is overbought. They're all overbought on all metrics. So we're overdue for a pullback, at least to the 20 MA on both of these, but just keep that in mind. Netflix reported earnings last night and was up 10.7% today. Big old pop. Never reached my level. My level was up around $580, but it had a big pop today and then got to $562.50 and then just pulled back down to $544 where we're closing now, but it's still up on the day, 10.7% or $52.68 gain on the day. Nice move for Netflix. Google had a positive day today, 1.13%, $1.66 gain, and there is its all-time highs right there. So it's got its sights set on that all-time high with a nice, good uptrend starting to go. So Google, nothing wrong with the chart whatsoever. All right, we've got lots of earnings coming on tomorrow. Of course, I said we already have Tesla going in after hours, and some of the most notable ones after that are IBM. IBM reported after hours as well, and then several going on in the morning as well. So I've got a list of them right in here on this watch list so we can all see them all, but it looks like we've got Tesla down 2.48% in after hours. Not a lot of others. Las Vegas Sands 2.54% up. Not a lot of others reporting right now, but we got quite a bit going tomorrow. So there's a lot of opportunity coming in tomorrow for trades, and we'll just have to wait and see. So I will see you guys on the charts. I put out a day trade this morning of a couple of trades that I did today, but they weren't really the earnings trades, but you get a chance to see some new techniques if you haven't seen those. All right, everybody, this is Copycat Trader signing off, and I will see you guys later on the chart somewhere.